Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's episode of Mini Paint and Chill, where we're taking on these bad boys, which we've already kind of started to paint because, well, we can. We hope you guys have had a great week so far. We appreciate you coming in and just hanging out and joining. As always, if you aren't already, follow the channel, give the channel a follow. And if you have the finances for it, consider subscribing. We really appreciate it. We have a few cool things on the horizon coming up. We've got another episode of Back in Stylus on Sunday. My campaign, The Minds Game, on Tuesday is making its triumphant return after we had a couple of emergencies come in. But I think that's it. Thanks for being here tonight. Mini painting is fun to watch. That's why we do it, because we're watching ourselves do it. And I'm sorry you've had a bad week. I know how stressful the world is right now. So
I was about to say hump day, but that was yesterday. Okay. My week's gone by pretty quick because I'm in doing a new section of training at my job. So instead of doing my normal being out on the floor taking calls deal, I'm in the classroom for a bit, and it's a lot like being in school again. It's just the whole day goes by so quick, and that's been pretty much my whole week so far.
My week's been going by slow because I'm waiting on all these PC parts to come in.
Yeah.
Seems like the more you have to wait for something, the longer the time is.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, like, being anxious thing. Okay, with these, I see that there's like this membrane lip that runs along the bottom edge.
Yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be painted black.
Well, it's definitely like biologically, it's like the muscle part that controls it, right?
Yeah.
It's like the arm, and it's just the flap. But I think I'm gonna continue since it's a nice, like, clean line. I think I'm gonna move my my dark top color all the way there.
Also, thanks for the follow, Like and Dragon. Again, I'm sorry your week's been bad, but we appreciate you joining us. Hopefully you can just chill out to the relaxing sounds of whatever music it lets me play. Yeah, I wish I was still in school, to be honest. I was thinking about it recently, how I want to go back, but online school, I'm sure, is a little bit quicker and easier.
Idiot Goblin is here. Always wonderful to see you.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed our mini unboxing. I'm definitely looking forward to the next set that's coming out and picking up some more, so be sure to be on the lookout for that when it hits the stream.
Ooh, look at that already. This guy's got like these deep holes in his back, which the paint just does not want to sink down into. No, I'm not in love with it.
He's so easy to paint, I feel like it's going to have some kind of texture on it.
Yeah, I'm really not hating the fact that I accidentally made him rocky. So it might be a little hard to see, but my cloaker has this very is it on autofocus? No, it's manual again. My guy has this very where is it? There we are. This very like pebbly texture from when I was repriming him. I'm doing zenithal priming for them, so I have to strip them first, but It's a coat of black underneath, and then gray, and then white just from the highlights to sort of simulate falling light. The gray spray can was a little clogged, and the weather that I had to prime outside in today was not super great, and it ended up just spraying these big blobs everywhere. So nothing I can do about it. But it's kind of nice, honestly, because the Mini itself is just these big flat wings, which naturally don't invite a lot of interest when it comes to painting them with like shadows and highlights. They're just these big flat areas. So it really makes it harder to do something with them.
That is true. That's what I'm dealing with right now. I'm trying to figure out how to just give it some texture. Just
ooh, a chunk of something. And if anybody's familiar with the way that these minis look, or the way that the monsters look in the Monster Manual, they are typically like this dark blue on top with like a beige on the bottom. The whole deal with them is that they're within that classic group of dungeon monsters from older editions that are sneaky. They look like something else, just like mimics, just like trappers, piercers, ropers, things that you would encounter in a dungeon that you originally think are one thing, but oh shit, suddenly it's a monster. These are like that. In the book, and in most art, they're like a dark blue. They're supposed to be this like really dark leathery material, which is why they're called cloakers. They look like cloaks. But since I ended up with this really pebbly texture on mine, I decided to go more brown, almost like it was blending straight into rocks. So that's where I'm going with mine.
Mine, I'm just trying to go for the good old classic look. I don't know how I'm going to get the texture on there. I'll have to overbrush with something lighter, but... Yeah, what are you doing for the beige?
I was going to grab your white and lighten this guy a bit.
I think I have a color like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get sort of a, like I was saying earlier, like a parchment-y color.
I've got like a orc skin or something. I got a ruddy skin.
Oh, that's very dark.
Yeah.
That is not the color of old paper.
No, but if I added white to it. Zombie flesh. That one's a little bit closer. Not as dark as the other one.
Yeah, honestly, you might be fine going with this fair skin color.
I might have a downward brown in there. And we are having, well, I mean, I'm having a pretty decent day. I don't know what Chris's day is going on, but
Pretty much what I said earlier. It's been quick. I haven't had to take calls today, so pretty much no stress. I was just learning all about the wonderful process of child support case establishment and the multiple steps that that have to happen for the administrative version of the process. It took 2 full whiteboards just to summarize like the highlights of it. So, yeah.
this is pretty close to your color.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm, like I was saying off camera earlier, I'm pretty much just working on Christmas shopping. Oh, motherfucker. Christmas shopping, always reevaluating like where my budget is at for the month.
working on Hanukkah shopping.
Well, yeah, that too. I should say holiday shopping because they're not all technically Christmas gifts. Some of them are birthday gifts because I do have quite a few people whose birthdays are during the month. And I'm trying to avoid that classic conundrum of, oh, well, they're close together, so you only get one gift. It's for both situations. Like, no, fuck that. They have 2 occasions. They're close together. They'll get multiple gifts. I'm very much in favor of just straight up finding a new playlist, like pulling up a different search term in Epidemic, so we're not. Because like during my Sunday stream, I was just like,
no, it's country music. Give me a second. I'm changing this.
Yeah, during my Sunday stream last, I was just like, I don't really want to hear any of this.
Yeah, but you gotta get it better.
I need to double check and see if that Humble Bundle for music is still going on. Because I don't remember when it's
we could go for a different. Dreamy, floating, laid back, mysterious.
Atmospheric, I think is a good term.
Mysterious, relaxing, suspense, weird, heavy and ponderous, hopeful, elegant, euphoric, changing tempo. How you doing, Hedrick?
What?
How you doing?
How?
Yes.
I am alive.
Accurate.
Yeah, I
Oh,
tried
careful.
my best to be. Am I breaking out?
Nope, but I noticed the lamp move and I didn't want it to crash on the ground.
Appreciate it. You were trying to save me.
I like this one better. Alright, we'll see how that goes.
How are you doing?
Good. Had a good day.
Exactly.
Oh, so me.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me for a second. I was like, what do you mean you haven't seen Wheeler all day? Where's he fucking been? Yeah, today was good.
That's good.
It's been a good week overall. A pretty stress-free week. For me, at least. Yeah, I know. That's
different from what we
not necessarily relatable. At least right now.
I'm happy that you have.
Can you give me the other last grapefruit
Yeah, that's good.
kisses? My eternal love.
Ooh,
That's fair. I have nothing else to give.
she's driving a hard bargain though.
Alright. You said the face is the same way, right?
This is the light color yet. The one thing that I really hate about how I ended up with this texture is that it got onto the face and the teeth too, so like the eyes are all fucked up.
I realized I'm not actually fully into this. This is too big.
Also, you let me know when you want
Like a riddle?
to. No, it shouldn't be because it's not.
Do you want me to tell you what you're doing for Christmas?
No. Simply. More new pieces.
Your horoscope?
How do you think you know when instead of blaming it?
I will trying to think about what you sent me today.
By the way this conversation is going, hey Kristen, have you looking for a third?
What did you mention to me today?
A million times.
I mean,
talked
apart
about
from
it
the whole,
7
like-
million times.
I mean, before Hunter left the room, you did say kisses, so there's that. But
No.
like,
I don't want them.
well, that's all I was here for. So that's
Yeah, because I've been saying it all day. I messaged our group chat about it. This is, yeah, I guess it would be cool if you ever read any messages.
I don't read any of my messages.
hi. I'm Jared. I'm 19.
I never
I'm not gonna read any of my fucking messages.
because I never learned how to read.
Ooh, Lycan Dragon, working on your own campaign. You doing a homebrew campaign in an established setting, or like fully homebrew setting? What are we talking about
I will
here?
buy you rustic bread and hard cheese so you can be the peasant girl of your dreams.
So here's the thing. I've said that 7 million times, and I could be and I'm brokenhearted.
Which is funny because I didn't even see anything about bread or cheese. I just remembered.
Couple red.
Sure.
Do cloakers have what color are cloaker eyes? Are they like classic yellow monster eyes?
They are.
Oh, they're yellow. Yep.
I was gonna make mine
They have like red edges though.
Homebrew
I like-
campaign, established setting. Which setting?
I mean, it's fine to say Forgotten Realms because, like, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, especially if you're doing 5th edition, like, that's where most of the updated content is. But, like, I'm holding out hope that you're gonna say, like, Spelljammer or, like, you know, one of those fucking Dark Sun. What?
I just got a very wet fit in there, but it actually kind of worked out. It like dripped down the side really well.
Wet ass paint.
Wet ass paint.
That's a wet ass paintbrush. Ugh. Lycan Dragons has modern day. Ooh.
Oh, kind of like our Urban Shadows game.
Yeah, that was my immediate thought. I was like, are you playing in a fictional version using an
Of your
existing?
hometown.
Yeah, using a map of your hometown that just has all the names of everything removed.
What else do I need to do this?
What? Well, you'll want to get the inside of his mouth.
Yeah, what color?
Mouth color. Like, it caught a little bit too much highlight, so like, you know, it's not just straight black, but just a dark red, a purple, whatever you can do.
Actually, do you have a good dark red?
I think your dark red is much better than mine, actually. Because apart from my contrast red is super good.
This one?
I think you have a dark red in that. What's this one?
Succubus one?
I don't remember.
Very.
Those are pretty much like the same.
Yeah. Well, the crimson's a little.
Oh, I also have like this Doodle brown that's just a really dark, like brick red. It says it's brown.
I'll probably just mix this with black.
Yeah, I love the idea of just including modern day settings and stuff because, like, you get to feature it makes your players feel like they understand the world more, right? Because like there's less questions that they'll have to ask because
Like when we were playing with Travis, and I was like, okay, so like industrial Commonwealth, like all the factory side of town, and he was like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. And I knew exactly what he was talking about because that's what the Urban Shadows game was based off of.
yeah. I do think it's so funny that I accidentally, like unintentionally picked the correct area for my werewolf's fucking territory. Like I just picked a spot on the map that, based on the previous very few sort of, what's the word? The previous descriptions we had gotten. I picked an area that matched up to what I thought it was supposed to be.
Started out with red a lot more than I did with black.
Yeah, a little bit of black goes a long way.
Oh, that's cool.
What do you say?
Drawing a lot on real world events.
Oh, so like, is there a pandemic going on in your game? Because if so, that's potentially a very good way to do some, like, you know, some,
Like therapeutic.
yeah, like some real wish fulfillment. You know, have things work out in your game. Potentially a lot better than they have been.
In place and building a web event. Oh, okay, that's cool.
Oh. So when you say like smaller, do you mean like Florida Man level, or like just like, you know, top page of Reddit news that hasn't made it to like cable? How small are we talking here? No, that would be distasteful. Yeah, the pandemic. Well, I mean, it'd be very low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Be topical.
It would probably go. It could very well be going against, you know, the sort of escapism that your players might be looking for.
Yeah.
Sort of depends on how you feel.
I don't have much else to do except wash it.
But once you wash it,
One of that kind of slow news day, maybe halfway through the newspaper kind of stories. Oh, so like just the random stuff that goes on, and it, you know, doesn't seem to be connected, but you're probably gonna do something to connect it. I would assume.
Yeah,
That's what you said. So
that real like investigative reporter uncovering the big conspiracy type deal, that could be really neat. I feel like I would enjoy that. Ooh, jeez.
wash her shade on the bottom.
You're doing green? Oh, black cup? Oh.
On the bottom.
Oh, use like Seraphim Sepia.
You think so?
Yeah.
One, I have a pot of it.
Yeah, it's a... Or Skeleton Horde. Because like Skeleton Horde leaves like this color over like white. It'll be that sort of very slight... You can try it with either one.
Oh, and all your PCs are werewolves.
Oh, nice. I love that. Are there like specific rules for... Are they just like... Well, it probably depends on what system you're using, right?
The
Like,
bog standard werewolves.
yeah, I really enjoy the way that the werewolf plays in Urban Shadows, but clearly if, you know, you have multiple players that are all werewolves, you couldn't be playing Urban Shadows because there is that limit to one character per archetype for that.
the Fae. I was surprised no one else won. You do it on the face too.
Do what?
Would you do this on the face too?
Do what?
The skeleton one?
I would, yeah. And then I would probably go back over that with your original color and just bring some of those bits up.
Yeah, that's the plan. It's gonna be hard to do anything with touch anything hot. I didn't realize how easy this menu was gonna be.
Yeah, it's big, but there's not a lot of specific details. Here's
Yeah.
what is it? Like a dragon. I'm just gonna say expect anything and everything to happen. Accurate. What do we put virtual?
That's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
We have a Discord if you wanted to join, with people who are interested in playing games and stuff like that. So feel free to do that. Oh, well, that's always a good way to do it, especially if it's pre-planned out. So. Oh.
Oh, that is cool. That's definitely a nice like call to action. It's like, hey, you all just found out you're werewolves. Try to deal with that. That'll definitely, having those two things coincide, like both of them finding out at the same time, like that's going to lead to a nice level of immersion where you're teaching, the characters about it at the same time as the players about it.
Yeah. Also, I feel you on that. I have so many Discords now, but it's worth it. I make so many new friends. Awesome. Would you watch? Oh.
Watch what?
Wash. Would you wash the top?
Oh yeah, for sure. I did.
What?
For yours, do you want it to look more blue?
No, I want it to have it. Well, I want it to just have more of a dark.
Well,
Texture.
no matter which one, but if you want to go more blue, go the blue wash.
I think the blue will be good because it'll just bring out more of the depth and like the natural color of it. So. Actually, I'll get another wash brush. Bigger one. I do kind of like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a super good like blue leather look.
Oh, music stopped. I was like, why is there no music in my ear? Okay, I did all the music by this person.
Hmm.
Oh no, there's so much more. Okay, cool. I just like this person's music.
Who is it? I haven't.
Arc de Soleil.
Sounds familiar.
It's like that weird jazzy vibe. Stretching and hydrating.
Oh,
Cracking my back.
hold on, let me find my drink.
Ooh.
How close would I have to get to the mic for people to be able to hear my neck snapping? Oh, that wasn't a good one.
Oh, I like that though. That texture really did work out for you really well.
Yeah, like happy accidents.
There's no mistakes.
I was like pretty upset when I first did it. I was like, fuck! Ruined one of them. Not much tea left. I'm gonna let my boy.
The driver
I'm gonna let my boy dry here for a moment.
I didn't wash him too much, but the wash that I did give him gave him that like nice blue leather color. I'm actually really happy with it. The top I don't think is gonna need really anything. Maybe a small highlight.
Yeah, what I would do is probably just take a more medium blue that's still pretty dark and sort of just highlight the highest points.
So like the red indigo.
Yeah, and like really thin down. Right, because you just want like, you want it to sort of glaze over.
Yeah, actually, he's turning out to be just like the book art. I mean, he's got that like gnarly looking darkness on top with like the blue accent, and then the bottom's got that like nice layered dark light.
Yours is a lot fleshier than I think it originally might have looked, but it's not wrong.
welcome in everyone. If you're just joining us, we're pretty much solidly through a big majority of the Cloaker, but like I said at the beginning of the stream, if you haven't already, consider subscribing if you have the money, and make sure you shoot a follow to us. We're still trying to hit 100 followers because who knows, maybe we'll still do the Wyvern minis.
Before the end of the year, maybe.
Yeah, we only got one more episode for the year.
Yeah. Time be flying.
It do be do.
The fuck was that?
Oh, that was my phone vibrated.
Oh,
Got an email.
weird.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. She said Underdark need to go lightened up a little bit or darkened?
Probably darkened. It's probably really light to begin with, and I would do a spot of the indigo and then mix part next to it, and then go. You know, if it's once you've got that darker highlight, yeah, that's super bright. You're fine throwing some black in there. You might also throw a little bit of this. You might even start with just this guy, or like a dot of black. Just that. That might even be too much black.
Well, that's fine. I'll pull into it. That still seems pretty light. This color.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Your original. And just the highest points, because that's what highlighting is. Oh, we got a posture check.
Rude.
Fortunately, the Logitech camera's a little.
Not wide angle enough.
Yeah. For you to see my back, but I will gladly do a practice check. Troubleshooting.
For sure. And remember the angle you're looking at from the most is anything that you can see when sort of holding anything that you can see is the spots you want to hit. So like if you might not focus on this back area of the wing too much because you can't see it from like your best angle.
No, but like,
it's not where most of the light is coming from. I also need to pull out a dry brush.
Pretty happy with that. I don't think he has those. I don't think his little bits in the back are. Yeah, they're just the same color. So. Good time. What, we're almost done? Still have an hour left. hydrate. Oh, 2 hydrates. Ah!
Oh god, everyone's just trying to drown us.
Hey, hydrate or dihydrate. Yeah, I like the way he came out. I did not think, again, he was going to be this quick to paint, but he definitely has, like, the traditional look to it.
Ooh,
so
let me see the eyes.
I've painted white.
Are you gonna do a glaze over them?
Yeah, I'm just going to do the yellow glaze that we did last time for the midnights. I think it looked better that way.
I mean, it definitely lets you get that bright color that you're looking for.
I like the teeth, too. Actually, I think it's better. Oh, we got another hydrate.
Well,
So many hydrates!
I don't have any more of my drink.
Hydration! It's hydration station! Like I was gonna go for that. That's the blue. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. I know it's been a little quiet, but I'm trying to paint. So I hope you've been enjoying us just chilling out and painting.
Black contrast.
Oh, you're going for the.
Do you have a wet pool of white anywhere still?
That is the smallest amount. It's not super wet, but it is still. You can just grab the way.
Nice.
Where did I put them?
For what?
The thing we always look for and never have the right item.
Black bases.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Aha! Oh, and the glue? Wow, look at me. Look at me. Yeah, that's a little better. There we go. It's not lighting. Grab it. I don't know, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm thinking it turned out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We still have 45 minutes.
Well, we could do whatever. We could take questions from chat. We could.
You could. If you have
Actually, I do still need to work on my base.
I'm working on mine right now, just let it dry. Yeah, if you guys have any questions for us, this was the second pick of the last poll we did, so we'll probably put another poll out soon. We may do just one poll for the end of the year and do like a bigger mini or something. I don't know. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
We could do. I could try printing out some 3D printed ones that we could do, like a nice big special one.
Would be dope. I don't know. It's a little loud comparatively. Boom, boom. Bow, 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 bow. Boom, 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 boom. Thanks, Stream Elements, for inviting me to my own chat. If you have anyone who wants to watch us, oh, it says minutes. I haven't changed it throughout the entire thing. Oh well. Shane didn't catch me on this one. Cloakers. That's not how you spell cloakers.
Cloacas. Something we're definitely not painting. I mean, unless that was a joke.
Boo. Oh. I'm so off screen. I have to like lean forward to get on screen. Yeah, if you have anyone who likes watching minis get painted, have them come join us. This is helping. Well, I shouldn't say helping. I pick up new minis every time we have a stream, so it's not really.
Oh, it's helping us get through our ever-expanding pile of minis that keeps building every time we buy new ones for the stream.
I've got
I
through
mean,
most of mine.
I'm getting through a couple of the ones that I brought.
Yeah, I'm working through mine. I think I've only got that green slot, and that's for another time. But I have some energy to work through it. Also, I just thought about it. also could have used these like a few months ago.
I didn't even remember that there were cloakers we fought. I mean, I know when they were. We were in Locust, but like I didn't even realize they were cloakers. I was just like, whatever. We're killing a thing. Who cares? Our lunch is being interrupted.
It was supposed to be a hint for you guys as to what was to come. Excuse me.
Do you have something else up here? I mean, do you literally only have the green slot?
I think I do. There's a black wormling up there, but that's Hunter's. I told her that she could paint with me one day, and she's like, I want to pick something to paint. I was like, okay. So, yeah, the only thing I have currently is the green slab.
Well, I've got. Oh, I put it on the. I've got a couple of the ones that I tossed back in here. Just don't do the sword and shield lady. Because that's going to be Bryce's temporary mini.
I'll just go through and get some stuff on it. You have the glazes out here, so I might as well just do some of that flame on it. It's a cool knit. It's a good sculpt. It's just a little intricate.
Yeah.
So how would you glaze this to make it flame? How would you?
Yellow and then
Orange.
Dry brush with a darker red.
Really?
It's the opposite. It's what we were talking about with the fire elemental. It's
Well, they did orange with a yellow at the tip.
they do it in reverse because fire is brighter closer to its source.
Yeah. So which one should
Whatever you want. The bigger one is stronger. Like the bigger one has orange elements to it.
That might be better then.
That's up to you. It's sort of opposite of what I was just saying, but you know, do fire the way you want to do fire.
I want it to be slightly orange. The red won't bother me. It's a small little fireball. That's a really good. No, it looks orange. Welcome in, those of you who've just joined. We are kind of finishing up the cloakers. It's a little early for it, but we didn't realize how much easier the sculpts were going to be. So, I'm currently working on small parts of the green slot that I have. Yeah, that's good. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to post in the chat. We love talking. Love having conversations. If you haven't already, follow the channel, and if you have the money for it, consider subscribing. Set it throughout the stream. Join us on our socials. Specifically, we've got a Twitter, Instagram. If you have a Discord, you can join. It's a load of fun. See, because he's not like a green, he's like a undertone light green highlighted with yellow.
Green. I would do green and then just brush back over with yellow.
Which green though? I
Whatever
got
green you feel like.
Feywild green. I got Grung green, which I feel like would be better for the highlight, so we'll keep that out. I've got Green Flame, which is a little too neon green. Got Snake Scales. And Putrid Slime, which also nice. Highlight. I feel like it's supposed to look like this green. I'm gonna do this green with a little bit of the grun green and see what comes out of it. That way it'll be like an undertone of this color, so I'm highlight it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, okay. That turned out really cool. So, and it's really probably hard to see what I'm working on in the meantime. I got some little bandits.
Some bandits.
Walking. Little bandits. I'm just doing some quick contrast paint jobs on them to just quick and dirty because they're just going to be little NPC minis, you know.
That's a little too late.
Probably use them every once in a while and that's about it.
Let's see, modern campaign with based off of small town event or small newspaper events that would make it more varied and interesting.
Well, interesting is a very open and relative term that, you know, what's interesting to one group isn't necessarily going to be interesting to another group. So, you know, it's going to depend on your players and how well you know them. So, like, you know, the interest factor could come from challenging combat that almost is like a puzzle because you know, have to sort of navigate the elements of combat, or there's interest from the sort of varied characters that they're meeting, because that's always, you know, a big hit with a lot of groups. So that's one thing that could bring a lot of interest is, you know, who they're meeting. It's a little harder to make your locations really stick as interesting, because if you know, the location itself is sort of just the backdrop, it's what goes on in those locations that makes the locations memorable. Yeah, I definitely think Rock Boy is done, except for I'm gonna go ahead and wash this base with another color.
Yeah, I went over with the earth shade to kind of bring in more earthy tones, even though I did it in the gray. Certain I want this guy. Something I have gotten better at as we've gone through and started painting more is just worrying less about the details at the beginning. Like being
Yeah, because you know you're gonna have to go back over them 3 or 4 times.
Being okay with just, you know, getting parts of the mini that you can paint over, you know, the wrong color, I think has been super helpful.
Yeah, just remembering that you're working big to small.
For the green, I'm not really worried if it's hitting anything else at the moment.
Yeah, because you have to paint those areas later, which means you're gonna have to be careful that later time.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be as careful this time.
I don't know if we would ever work for WizKids to paint.
When you say work for WizKids to paint, what exactly would that mean? Because, like, you know, do you mean work in their fucking China factories? Or not China necessarily, probably more like Taiwan. But, Thailand?
No, it's Taiwan.
One of those factories.
It's Taiwan, yeah. I don't know who they've gotten to be painting recently, but they're doing a good job.
Wasn't Realm Smith, like, sponsored by them? So he, in a sense, paints for them?
Well, WizKids does a lot with a lot of people. Like, obviously, V has become a much bigger part of their team recently. That's why she does all the mini mayhem videos on Wednesdays.
Yeah. It's nice that they have started actually making, like, press kits for upcoming minis. Like,
yeah,
it's nice that they finally realized, like, that YouTube is a big part of the industry.
Well, and they're really starting to go out and, you know, do smart things when it comes to just advertising their work. They're sending people who are big D&D content YouTube artists like free material to be like, hey, we're sending you this, and it's easily getting people access to, you know, their content that they want to get out there. I mean, I can tell you how many, how many times we in the past 3 sets have come out have shared like YouTube videos with each other about specific channels that have done
Mostly
unboxing
Gallon
videos.
Goblin recently because they've really nailed the like review setup, the little turntable.
Yeah, they definitely know what
They
they're
put
doing.
they put a lot of post work into their videos that really make them stand out.
Which, like I watched back over our video from Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good. Like, it wasn't bad. The video quality obviously wasn't the best because we were futzing with trying to get the focus to work between minis and stuff.
And then we ignored it for the last half of the video.
Yeah. But it was a good video. Like, I actually ironically was like listening back to it, and I just absentmindedly didn't turn it off because it was something that was like entertaining to listen to, and it was, you know, paced correctly to where we were like going through and not, you know, lingering too much on one mini or another, highlighting the details of each. So it was an overall good video. Going from there, I mean, you could have them try and figure out, you know, why they turned specifically. So maybe it's like each one of them was, not to sway you from the style of story, but like maybe like a Saw situation where they're all like, oh, we don't know each other, but we all did this thing, so we're gonna go look as to why this happened to us. I mean, that's you have to think about how human nature is going to go when someone finds something out about themselves that is new. So like if you mysteriously woke up one day with powers that you know, didn't know where they came from, you would probably be interested in knowing where they came from. So
I mean,
that might be a good thing to work.
that's definitely one way to go about it. If I were to go with powers, I would probably figure out the extent of what they do first. And that, you know, that would, you know, like that classic Spider-Man scene where he doesn't really, well, I mean, it might be because he sort of understands where it came from, but like, you know, in the Sam Raimi Peter Parker, like, he pretty much just goes out into a roof and tries to fucking shoot his web. Like, he doesn't go hunt down trying to find out why.
No, but he does have some understanding already, and but what I mean by that is, like, in a movie it's a little bit different because you as the audience are the one who's consuming it, but as a player, if you're going through something, you probably are going to at some point wonder, you know, where these things come from.
Right.
You know, we see in the Spider-Man movie, oh, he gets bit by a spider. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the Spider-Man movies, but like,
Spoiler alert for a fucking, like, 50-year-old plot point.
yeah. But like I said, I would be interested in knowing where those things came from if it was happening to me as a player. So I would go that route and try and find specifically, you know, maybe that's where they're going to look. I would start setting stuff up for that. But
When it comes to story points for me, I try to figure out not necessarily the end, but like where it's leading. Not in a this is where the story has to go, but this is in a sense of like you sort of have to know what's going on. What's going on and what would happen if none of the player characters intervene. Right? So, for example, my very old campaign, I say very old, but my old campaign that I ran where Wheeler was a player, there was actually two separate things that were both going on, and technically both of them were going to happen if nobody intervened, which was that a portal was being opened to sort of merge the Feywild with the material plane, and that was going to continue if it didn't get stopped. And then simultaneously, and sort of opposite of it, a nation was sort of trying to expel mages from society and try to establish a ban on arcane magic. And those two things basically would have happened full on if the party weren't adventuring. And knowing that that's what the world was sort of leading towards, without actually figuring out specifically how it was going to be addressed, that gave me enough of a point to look forward to, that I was able to pretty much improvise to follow along with whatever the party wanted to do, because I sort of knew what was going to eventually be going on in the world separate from them.
Okay, that's always a good. Giving them something to reside over is always.
You have two ideas in your head right now. You want to give the party some kind of sacred conflict. That's cool. I like that. The question that immediately raises in my mind when you bring that up is, since the characters are just finding out that they're werewolves, or that they've become werewolves, is that somehow connected to what this sacred ground is? Like, when you say they need to protect it, that means there's a threat coming to threaten it, but that you're already introducing an endgame conflict, which is that you're implying that there's going to be some sort of assault or siege or other threat towards whatever it is that made them how they are. Idea 1, the university is developing this new psychiatric medication that, unknowing to them, has an adverse effect on werewolves. BBEG Incorporated, love it, wants to get a piece of the pie, so to speak, to use it as a weapon. Okay. So, yeah, that's got some good like TMNT Baxter Stockman vibes to it. Also a little bit like, if you've ever watched Future Man, the conflict arises from the fact that a medical breakthrough is, the cause behind a future conflict, and it needs to be addressed. So that's definitely a solid starting point.
Oh, here. Put this boy on. See, he looks more like a manta ray, or like a stingray.
I mean,
they both look, but like, I think yours has more of like the natural Florida, Tampa stingray vibes. 2. Local politician is trying to convince the first minister to deregulate environmental controls in order to basically bulldoze the sacred ground. Okay. So you're bringing a lot of like ethically ambiguous or very heavily capitalistic ideals into a game,
Yeah, you're
Which
definitely
is-
introducing a theme here.
which is good. I mean, that is very much current events. So
But more importantly, having a strong theme to work from is something that can always make sure that whatever your side quests are and whatever your day-to-day encounters are always sort of tie back to, you know, what you're trying to get across in game. So like, yeah, if there's this environmentalist or, you know, anti-greed message, that can play into a lot of the smaller encounters that are unrelated to the larger one. Like, you know, it could be as simple as, you know, introducing smaller arc villains or session villains who their conflict is based around that same theme of like greed or you know, something more specific than just evil. God, contrast looks so good with this green. You could have just done this for your green slot.
I could have.
Bro, would have gone way fucking quicker. I like that there's so much skin on him.
Yeah, the new
He's
Dragon
obviously
Boy
some
minis that
sort
they're
of, like-
coming out are much more skinned, and I like that. Yeah, the new unpainted minis, the sculpts are really nice. So
Yeah, where's my, there it is.
both of them are going at once. I mean, having two options is always good because then you allow the players to like make a choice.
So, for flow, pacing is...
Did you eat my crinkle cut french fries? There's some more.
The last of them, I had them like 2 weeks ago.
I hate the feeling though, right? Of like, not to cut away from what we were talking about with you, like Dragon, but I hate that feeling of like suddenly
Thinking you have
remembering
something.
you have something in the fridge and then going to find it and be like, where the fuck is it? I was suddenly really looking forward to this thing and now I don't have it. But yeah, pacing. Yeah, pacing and flow. Right now, you don't necessarily have to worry about those middle points that bring all those story points together. Because right now, you only have the sort of the barest outline of it. If you have that beginning, which you do because you know where they're starting, you know they've been captured for XY reason, and they've been turned into werewolf for whatever other reason, and you know that there's a sacred ground that is being threatened. You have a lot of leeway to just open it up for them to pick a direction on their own, and since you don't need the flow because you can sort of let them direct it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Was if you play them too much, it almost takes away a lot of player mobility in being a player. That's not to say having something set isn't a good idea, but your players could completely go off track and not pay attention to any of that. And you just have to be prepared for it. As someone, I mean, Chris can attest to this too because he's also DM'd for a long time in a couple campaigns. When you make a plan, usually just have like a starting and ending with maybe a few key points in the middle. Because your players are going to go any way they want to, but I always like to have a start, a like middle piece to whatever story I'm doing, and then like the end of where they need to head into. Whatever happens in between happens in between. I mean, I knew I wanted them to get to a specific place at one point, but I didn't plan on them, my players on Tuesday night, I didn't plan on them coming up with the idea to make a balloon. That wasn't in my initial plan, but it flowed, it worked, and they wanted to spend time doing it, and it's helped them out somewhat. So you just have to let go of, not to say that you haven't DM'd before or GM'd before, because that would be super presumptuous of me, and I don't like doing that, but you have to just kind of, there's a level of letting go of like that anxiety and worry that kind of helps out when playing a game, just because, well, it does. So if you don't feel like you have flow, try to come up with very specific points that you'd like to see, and then see which ones you could maybe get rid of that maybe the players might not hit to your exact liking, and then you'll have at least a flow chart that works a little bit better. That would be my go-to idea.
Yeah, one thing that I always try to keep in mind is to make sure that what the players are doing matters. Not all the time, because they're allowed to goof off and have a beach episode, and not actually move the plot forward. But when they are trying to do things, when they're trying to actively respond to the plot hooks you've given them, just make sure that however they're choosing to move forward, whatever it is, has an impact. Because one thing you definitely don't want is for them to leave a session or be at the end of a multi-session dungeon or arc and feel like they didn't really accomplish anything.
Yeah. What am I gonna do to take pictures of these? Ironically, your color scheme fits kind of directly. It's a little darker, but
I can't. There's White Claws in the way. Yeah. I mean, I try my best. I feel like with Dwarven Forge, because they use for full sets, they have a pretty specific color palette. Unless you want to spend a whole bunch of time really trying to color match,
yeah.
you just ignore the existing color scheme.
So for that, I mean, I think one of the biggest things for stories such as what you're speaking of, I think moral ambiguity really brings in an extra layer of story to it, because you have to think, if players are just going in and you're saying, all right, you need to kill these people, okay, thanks, bye. That's fine sometimes, but there's always going to be that one person that's going to be like, well, why? Why are they trying to do this? What is their motive behind it? Because, there are some people who are just out there to be evil. You're going to have someone who is evil, who is just evil, and, that's always a good basis to have for your characters and players to go against, because, yes, good versus evil. This makes us good because we're fighting evil. But make it so, there's some reason behind why whoever this individual or entity is making this decision to destroy this area. Make it it's, an affront to my people who, the ancestral people of this ground were, slave owners or whatever, and my people were held by that, and it's just a constant reminder of this. You got to add some level of, hey, there's a reason why a person's doing this, so you may not want to do this, but it's still an evil reason. Obviously, destroying stuff with slaves isn't.
I think the root of what you're getting at is that, like I was saying before, you want what the party does to matter. You don't want it just to matter in the larger scheme of things, but you also want it to matter to them. And that finding and responding to what matters to the player characters and to the players does involve a little bit of insight as to who the players are, and you sort of have to get a feel for like what they care about in game. So like I'm trying to think of an example from Tuesday night game.
For the more ambiguity?
No, like of what's something that matters to one of one of the great examples from our Tuesday night game is that one of our characters, Zinnia, she joined the group to get help searching for a cure for the blood curse that's afflicting her and her family. Obviously that matters to her, but it matters to the rest of us simply because we care about her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something you can necessarily force, right? Like that's something that arose during the game as a result of people playing together. It's like, you know, on the one hand, we are meta playing it to where like, okay, we know it's another player character, we're going to treat them well. But also in-game, not in a meta sense of, oh, well, we have to be friendly to the other player characters because that's how you treat it at the table. But in-game, like Gideon legitimately cares about protecting his friends, and that includes Zinnia. So like he's going to go wherever the rest of them go, and he does not give a fuck where that ends up. Like he went to hell with them.
Well, Gideon also doesn't have like something solidified as a arc of where he might be going.
We can talk about that later.
As of yet, I have ideas, but yeah, but it is. It's a lot of that where, I mean, I've had players come up to me and be like, "Hey, I know, this is something that we're doing, but I want to let you know, like, the only reason I'm doing this is because this character is having trouble." Well, maybe they're trying to destroy the sacred ground because that individual has ties to this pharmaceutical company, and there's some kind of specific flower or herb that grows in this sacred ground that they need specifically for whatever pharmaceutical medicine they're going for. I mean, you could do that.
You could just tie it together through a theme. Like, you don't have to figure out what those connecting bits are now.
Yeah. You could literally just have it be both of them are in this, like, Monopoly-style, stupid, capitalistic group that, one of them is an underling and the other one is higher than them, and they're destroying, like, natural resources for net gain in their company, and that's an issue. Like, you could literally tie it together however you want.
Yeah, the two plots or subplots I should say, don't necessarily have to be directly involved. If they're thematically similar and connected, it can be enough to make them feel coherent.
Yeah.
Like, with the example I gave earlier of my first game where magic is becoming more present through one plot point, and magic becoming less present through the other plot thread, like the presence of arcane magic and how it is impacting the world was the overall connecting thing. At the very end, they did the two plot threads very much
converged at the same time.
In the finale, very much came together to, I think, end up with a really satisfying, at least for me.
Oh, it was fun. Yeah, that was a big finale. I mean, part of it was like Ben leaving and Sierra leaving, I feel like we were rushed out of it because we could have totally taken that campaign much longer than it
yeah,
was.
we did. I definitely did skip most of Sierra's entire ending arc.
Yeah, which was upsetting because I actually was super interested in what was going on with her. Like,
Yeah, that's.
I was glad that we got to this, pieces of my stuff that we did, but I do wish we would have gotten more time to play. Which is not anyone's fault, Sierra and Ben, if you watch this. You guys literally just moved on with your lives. So.
Well, I mean, that campaign went on almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Like
Went almost 3 years and we only leveled up to level 10.
11 or 12.
I thought it was 11.
It was definitely at least 11. It was 11 or 12 because then you guys jumped to something.
We jumped to 18.
You jumped to 18 for the 10 years later or epilogue. But I thought there was a 15 in there. I thought you guys were 15 for a second.
No, not that I remember. But yeah.
But yeah, if you know your overall big parts for now, it'll come to you later. You don't have to have that all set now before you start the game. And it's probably actually better if you don't, because you'll be able to, since you have those parts blank still, you have the freedom to apply whatever happens in game as the glue that will finally connect those bits later. What?
I thought I heard someone else's voice.
No. I'm really satisfied the way that this face came out. Like,
yeah. No, I'm satisfied the way this whole mini came out because the more I look at it, the more I'm like, oh.
I wanna remember this paint scheme. Ooh. My back hurts. Oh shit. Glue hasn't quite dried on your boy yet.
Nope. They
Or on mine.
take
I picked him up and I was like, whoa, what's this syrupy feeling? Didn't get on my hands though.
Well, I mean, we've hit the last portion of what we're gonna do. We're gonna post these on our socials for sure, like we always do. But yeah, if you have any other questions, like I said, follow us on our socials and hit us up, and we can talk about it. We love talking about anything really RPG related. We'll talk about D&D for hours. So,
Sometimes while at work.
yeah, sometimes while at work, we will. But yeah. Do you have anything else? I mean, I think we're done.
I'm good.
Alright, yeah. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you, Like and Dragon, for all of the conversation. We love being able to just chat while we're painting, and like I just said, please feel free to continue the conversation on other platforms. Yeah. So
Join our Discord and reach out in Discord. We can definitely follow up there.
Yep.
See how, as time goes on, how your campaign's progressing. If you ever have any more questions,
Mhm.
or if you want to follow up with, stuff you've already come up with, definitely always interested in hearing it.
Oh, for sure. But yep, that's going to do it for tonight's episode. We appreciate you joining us. Don't forget to come out on Sunday. We're going to have our next Back in Stylus episode. Chris, what are you working on this weekend?
Probably gonna be. I might if I haven't finished up the same travel poster splash screen I was working on. I'm gonna start working on Bryce.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna be doing a character portrait for Bryce either this week or next.
Cool. Well, yeah, if you're interested, please come and hang out with us on Sunday. It'll be just Chris. I will be here. In fact, I'll probably be in the room because I'll be building my PC. So come join us on Sunday, and then Tuesday we're going to pick up where we left off from the last episode of the Minds game. Other than that, there are a lot of things on the near horizon, so be on the lookout. We appreciate you all very much. Thank you for following us on the channel. again, if you haven't already, make sure that you do that. And if you have the money for it, please consider subscribing. We understand that it's a hard time right now in the pandemic, so don't feel pressured. Don't feel like you have to. We just appreciate it if you can. But yeah, thanks again. Critical Role's tonight if you are a fan of that, so make sure you go watch it. Back from break. Things are looking brighter. The world is a little less chaotic, and even still, tomorrow's a new day, so make sure that you make it the best one you can. And we hope to see you next time. So, thank you. Good night, everyone.